up. So this is for April 21st, 2026. I had the right read on the market coming into the morning. So first off, I just want to outline a couple things. We had last week's high that we had already taken on NQ. We had not taken it on ES. So we have that here. We are moving through the new week opening gap. We've already moved higher through it. All right, we have this 1 hour for value gap right here. And that's about it on ES. So coming into today, we had red folder news at 8:30 and then at 10. And my focus was not on making money. It was just on building habits that can take me further than I am. Be a referee, stay detached, and if I take 1 or 2 losses, then I log off. I don't spiral. I don't keep taking trades. If I take 1 or 2, I'm done. Like, you follow your rules. So that was the priority for me. Structurally, I felt like a lot of sell side setup. So we had these internal stacked sell side levels here. There was no SMT at them. They had not been taken. And then all the way through here, we just see low resistance liquidity. Now, it is Tuesday. We move higher. We've already taken Monday's high. We take last week's high. Ooh. So we move higher, we take last week's high. There's an internal model also presenting where we move higher. We actually take it, and then we put a low in, we move higher, we take out the internal high, and then we close through that with displacement, leaving inverse for value gap, and SIBs moving lower. So this was the initial thing that I needed because I needed to be bearish higher than the 1 minute. A lot of my issues have been too zoomed in, so this was showing intent to move lower. Now we have all this sell side right here coming into open, and this was the first thing that I wanted to see become the draw on liquidity. I wanted to see more so, okay, we have this for value gap here. Now the draw, I feel confident in is lower, but I was hoping to see something where we generate some sell side, move into the 5 minute, respect it with my model on the internal, and then we move lower and take these. But that's not what we got. So what we got was price opened and immediately moved lower, taking sell side, the stacked internal, we rebalance to equilibrium of this recent price range. So EQ has been met. While we are bullish, we're respecting this 15-minute per value gap that we'll see on both assets, really. Ooh. So here we see this one is not as clean, that move to EQ, but this was a move lower. So it does move to equilibrium. But so there's that. We have this 15-minute here that hasn't been traded into, this 15-minute here that hasn't been traded into with bodies in it. So we're there. This is our stacked sell side on ES. We take it, we move higher, we close through this inverse for value gap, which was the first presented for value gap of the day. I still wanted to see us move higher here because we have area where we haven't traded into. We've left all these equal highs. We've left relative equal highs on NQ. So initially, I'm like, okay, we can move, definitely can move higher. We respect these for value gaps here. After returning down to equilibrium, inverse, inverse. On the 2 minute, there's an inverse. 3 minute gets inversed. 5-minute gets inversed, like all of these, and then we have this 5-minute that hasn't been traded into. Again, on both assets. And then we move higher. Then I'm waiting. I'm still looking for my model here. So early on, price just runs and takes sell side that had been built overnight without an entry being presented towards it, which means there's no opportunity. And that's important because normally, if you see something, then you're like, okay, I'm confident that this is going to be the liquidity, but you don't have refinement towards it, but you take something anyways. So it's key not to put risk on when your entry model isn't presented to you. Later on in the morning, I was still waiting, still wanting us to see a clean setup. This one was what I had been waiting for. Now, it wasn't super clean. I would say it was. We just had already delivered in the morning to sell side. Like if this had all been set up, this would be an A+ setup that I'm about to show. But this is what I took anyways, because everything that I wanted to see took place, and I protected myself, and I managed it correctly, and we had more area where we could move lower, especially with the weekly profile. Like where we take last week's high, we're still like we have all this sell side built up. There's a lot of area where we haven't traded into. We're super deep in a premium, but you do not want to get caught just forcing bearish in a move where we're making all-time highs and where price is just clearly being supported on the bullish argument, like holding order blocks, just constantly being bullish. It's like the 11th day in a row that we've been closed green. So here is the entry. So we take right here. I was looking at this 15-minute for value gap that had put in the internal model on the external, if that reads for some, where we have a 2022 model. Here's my change in the state. Here's my for value gap. At the same time, the 5-minute for value gaps that we inverse and close through had not been moved up towards again. So we take that. There's an SMT. So there's multiple confluences. And then internally, we have the 5-minute down here that could get rebalanced towards, like we've taken buy side. We're showing reversal. And then if price wants to keep moving higher, potentially this change in the state is going to hold a few different options. So then I see my model inverse for value gap here. Change in the state, we've taken buy side, 2022 model. I was targeting here, and then this unfilled for value gap. So I take my position once it closes, and then we deliver. We return to the change in the state, and then we deliver off super cleanly after that on the 1050 macro. So this is where today was different. Management. I started using reduced risk, so half size based on drawdown control, just on the past trades that I've been taking. So even before the trade plays out, I'm protecting the account. As price moved, I trimmed into the 5-minute for value gap because I recognized that if bullish model held, price would most likely react right here. Then I followed a structured management plan. So at 50% of my targeted range, I reduced my risk to 25%, and then at 75% of my targeted range, I move my stop to break even. So I don't have to guess about something, it's just the rules. Overall, the trade delivered pretty cleanly. It wasn't perfect. The draw on liquidity wasn't as strong as I'd like, as I mentioned, and that's the most important of the model. But everything else lined up. We were in a premium. We shifted lower time frame structure. We were holding higher time frame structure of being bearish. We had the untapped fair value gaps below. We were in OTE of the bearish leg, and most importantly, I executed with patience where I needed to. And this is the difference between the day today and the days that I blow up, because it's the same market, it's the same concepts, it's just a different execution and different amount of patience. So for the checklist, I did my full routine before the session. I had a confirmed draw on liquidity before 9:30 it got taken. I waited for my full model to present. I managed it correctly once I was in it, and then I stopped after my trade limit, which that's a clean day. And this is what I'm just trying to build. It's not perfect trade, it's consistent execution. Because when I follow my rules, I manage risk and stay patient, this is what happens. So moving forward, you don't have to change anything. Like, you just wait for confirmation, you manage risk properly, and you stay out of the market when it's not clear. Because this is what it's supposed to look like. So yeah.